Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show Tuesday night and the second part of our two-part special with Lisbon Lion Bertie Auld. Alan Ruff alongside me and alongside his old boss at Partick Thistle as well. Bertie, it's just been great hearing your tales of playing in that magnificent side. Let me ask you this, did you think Jimmy Johnstone was world class?
Oh, there's no fear of contradiction about that. I thought at that time we had three world-class players. Jinky, without fear, he was the entertainer. He was the one that put bums in seats and got them off his seats because he was that good. Bobby Murdoch had everything in his locker. He was a leader and somebody to look up. The professionals looked up to him. The rest of the players looked up to him. And Tommy Gemmell, what about him?
You thought Tommy Gemmell was world class too?
No doubt, no doubt. Ruffy played with him at international level.
Yeah, no, just at the end of the career. But Tommy was a style of player, was a way ahead of his time.
Wasn't he?
Who made him the overlapping fullback? Or did it just come natural? Or
No,
was he told?
but he played right back to start with, Tommy. This is how good our boss is. I can't say, I can't praise a man long enough or higher enough than what the boss was. And to start with, in the 67 season, the goalkeeper was Simpson, and it was Gemmell and O'Neill. Now, Willie O'Neill in his own right was the best defensive player. Him and John Clark was the most defensive type of players that everybody wanted. He was another one that we all knew were capabilities and such like, and played accordingly. And Jock never asked you to do something you weren't capable of doing. And Willie O'Neill was very defensive and aggressive in the air. Didn't have an awful lot of pace, but what a educated left foot when he used to knock passes. And as I said to you, I was playing outside left at the time, and it was great to have because we'd knock the ball to you quick. Gave you support but never went beyond you, wasn't that type of player. And Tommy was getting occasional goals in the right back position. So all of a sudden Jim Craig came on board because he was with university and we'd signed him, and he didn't play many reserve games and such like. And then all of a sudden Willie O'Neill, and there were no substitutes in the days, which was a tragedy.
Yeah.
There were a goalkeeper sub, but that was all. So anyway, and the name Craig come up, and they read out the team: Simpson, Craig and Tommy right back. I says, that's strange, because they were, Willie O'Neill, I would say he was the one that was the most consistent every week, and a beautiful person, and a right team player, and a motivator. And Willie wasn't playing, Tommy was left back. Now this is the type of thing that makes you a good manager or a magnificent manager, and the boss had that. Wasn't the greatest coach in the world, but he had the vision for ability. He had vision for something that the club or the team needed at that particular time, and that was in our day. And if you look back, Jim, Peter, just that wee bit further, in the team that I played with, we had 9 potential goal scorers in our team. You very seldom get that.
Yeah. And
every one of them was capable to create as well. So with Gemmell going to left back, which everybody was finding it strange, natural right-sided, but his left foot wasn't a dummy. And all of a sudden, as you can appreciate, the game was going on. By this time, I was still, I come into the inside forward, and Yogi or Bobby Lennox, who had always 11 pants on, but never played there. Bobby had the licence to thrill anywhere, and he used to chase paper on a windy day.
Yeah.
And used to, honestly. But all of a sudden we were building up, and came natural to me playing in England, where you turned round if you knocked a midfield player forward and it broke down. It was just natural you just to take that position up until such time he got behind the ball, and you played it until such time we won possession again. Well, we wouldn't be knocking Tommy through in the left back position, but he was coming through, and here all of a sudden, instead of going beyond him on the outside, he come across in this right peg. Oh God, some of the goals were awesome.
Yeah.
Really. And I was behind him.
Well, can I ask you this? What would you do if you were Ronnie Delia now, facing into Milan? It's 3-3. Now, I remember so many of the Lisbon Lions saying, you know, was it Dukla Prague that you totally played against the grain of what you normally play? Is that the way he should approach this game and then maybe try and nick one?
Well, you see, the big thing about the boss, that's the first time I've ever seen him coming in and apologising to us. Because, Alan, I'm not joking when I say it, we're behind the 8 ball. We played with one up, Stevie Chalmers. And when you talk about chase and harass, that's what it did. And it was foreign for us to come back and allow them possession. And we had 2 players. One was Ronnie in goal, who was outstanding. Honestly, Simpson, he was more like a sweeper than a goalkeeper, as you can appreciate, because that's what you became at the end of your career. You started to dictate to the back 4, shout to them and let them be aware. Simpson was outstanding. And after the game, the boss come walking into the dressing room and say, I must apologise. That'll never happen in my lifetime as manager of Celtic. That'll never happen. I'm sorry about that, lads. And apologise to the players because he asked us to do something we weren't capable of doing. And that was be defensive first all the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand, and I think we're not in any way being disparaging towards the current Celtic side. It's a totally different level, and the Europa League is a different level. But I do like, for example, Scott Brown's attitude to it. It's time, he said, we made our own history.
Yeah.
So you have to go to a stadium like the San Siro. You have to go there and believe that you can do it. I have my doubts over whether it's possible or not, if only for the fact that the game on Thursday night, the Celtic were open and positive, and played some lovely football and deserved great praise. But how do you approach it? What would you say to the players on, in the return leg?
Well, you see, the first thing that Ronnie, and he's been there 6 months, you know what I mean? So he knows each and every player that he's got in his staff. And what I would do in a situation like that, and we've done it, Ruffy, we've played it a wee bit tight at the back and put tight in the midfield, never restricted them of expressing themselves. I wouldn't do that, that's what I would do. But what I would turn around and say, first and foremost, the first 20 minutes of the game, which were the first game, as you know, Peter, we were all at sea in the first 10 minutes, and we tried to, what he's trying to do is get them play total football. And at this level, you can't do that. You must keep the game in front of you. You must get them turning and chasing their own goal. And our back 4 getting a wee bit tighter. We were so wide open that night. But I'll tell you this much. He's a clever laddie and he's a fitness fanatic. And as he is getting better at fitness-wise and shutting people down, what this game's at this level seems to be now.
Yeah.
Don't allow MD to play. The game last week, as you can appreciate, that we gave them far too much room. And if you give, and it doesn't matter how the Inter fallen that wee bit, and Celtic, the teams have fallen, the players have fallen just that little bit. If you give players of that class space to play in, they'll hurt you. And that's what they did last week. They hurt us. So I would turn around and if I was on the bench, I would need to say to Ronnie, listen, we need to tighten up here.
Yeah.
Now, whether he takes my advice or not, that's up to him. But I think we need to have someone that's sitting with him and say, hey, come here. We fell down in Edinburgh. We fell down there once or twice. Let us learn with that. Let's play it tight, keep the game simple. We've proved that we can score in the first minute, and we've proved that we can score in the last minute. And all we need is a result of 1-0.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
different style. You're asking Celtic to play a different style of football. They don't do it in the SPFL. They don't have to do it. No. But now he's got to adapt to it, just as you were saying you had to adapt it in your game.
That's right.
So I think, first of all, you can't lose an early goal like they did last week.
But you know as well as me, Alan, first and foremost, you as a goalkeeper realised that with them, with the other 10 in front of you, you knew the capabilities of your right back. Would you give him the ball? No, he's a more defensive one, and he's not as neat on the ball. So at this level of football, you, by this time of the year, you know the capabilities of each and every person that you've got in your staff, and you play a system that suits them. But the most important thing at this level is the boys you've got on the bench, and you turn around and you say to yourself, what if things is not going right for us? Who have I got here that can change that? And they are most important. Your substitutes, and we've got, what is it, 4 or 5 substitutes?
Yeah.
It's a lot, and we've got a big pool of players.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, and whether they can pull it off, it will be certainly an unbelievable result if they can indeed do it. In the next part of the programme, more from Bertie Auld, a wee bit of banter about this man on the left to see what stories he can tell us coming up next. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show, the second part of our 2-part special with Lisbon Lion Bertie Auld, and there'll be more specials coming up with some of your favourite players from days gone by. Alan Ruff's alongside me, and of course alongside his old boss at Partick Thistle. That's a tough one, you know, as a boss. You've got to try and get the best out of them, keep the reins on them. How difficult was he?
Well, every picture tells a story, Peter. Look at the colour of my hair. I used to hate that because when I first took over at Firhill, it was great because all of a sudden Ruffy's hair was down to his shoulder collar. You know.
Oh, I loved the mullet, didn't
and
he?
I used to get phone calls from, honestly, the Botany and Mary Hill is right up at the top near the Mary Hill Park, and St George's Cross is right down about where Ruffy knows about. And I used to get maybe 6 and 7 calls a day asking if Ruffy would come to this hairdresser. It was all women's hairdressers. I think somebody had it in for him.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Never a truer word spoken. But one of the things I mean, I don't want to, blow his own trumpet, but the point is that he had,
he had that in all, Peter.
Well, he did. He was, a top drawer goalkeeper, and always amazed me when I was a young boy, looking and thinking, how could the Partick Thistle goalie be number 1 for Scotland?
When you were a young boy, he was in. Is this Ruffy? What chance you I'm not kidding. I was at nursery when my dad came me out to see him. I was breastfed till I was 14.
Listen, I said to him, when I was at school in Argentina, I mean, it was just the boys, the whole school was sobbing.
Aye. Well, just imagine how I felt.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I'm going to say, this is not kidding. Like all great players, he had so much confidence in his own ability, and people used to knock him for whatever happened, cross balls and such like. But he was a shot stopper, and I promise you, he was the best in the business at it.
Yeah,
he saved things that you never expected. Honestly, for him, that he got to them, and he was. You could, I'm going to say this story, but I don't ever tell it. I've never ever told MD this story. When we worked with Alan Ruff, he was a good outfield player as well, so he knew the game from start to finish. But seeing goal, you could have shot goals and done whatever you wanted as long as he was between the sticks. Other people don't like that. And they would blooter it and maybe 10, 15 yards next to him, and he'd go and try and save it. Other people would turn around and say, hey, slow down, I'm not in here to get injured. Ruffy was a typical goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And it just shows you, how hard it is to get a rise when you're that good. When you go in and you're on 40 quid a week and you go, but there's any chance of a £5 rise, get out that door.
Well, I'm telling you this much here and now, if you got 40 quid, that must have been the directors that gave you I had the most beautiful people in the world, and it's a tragedy that this character particularly is lost to the game. Millar Reid, I mean to say, he was steeped in Partick Thistle. He loved the club and he loved the game.
They used to bring him into training. I
used to shout at him because nobody was allowed on the park to take penalties. And I used to say, what are you doing? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Manager. He would come on, you on the pitch. But what I'm saying is, for the game to lose someone like that, and for particularly Partick Thistle, who I've got tremendous fond memories of, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was a family club, and it was done with humour. But when it needed to change, we did change, and that's in the dressing room. And I felt we were underachievers because we had so much quality. And here again, we had people that could hurt them in different positions, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ruffy will tell you the dress room was magnificent because we had tremendous humour, and they worked hard at. I had them in part time, and it was Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and then Saturday mornings we come in and worked all the set pieces and such like. And I remember us playing Fergie down at St Mirren when he was in Paisley.
Yeah.
And after the game we beat them 2-0. And Fergie come on moaning like, no, I wasn't a moaner, wasn't he? And we could always turn them out, wouldn't
The
we?
training thing we used to have, we used to bring us in on Saturday morning, and we'd have our team, but we wouldn't be playing against anybody, and we'd have the invisible ball.
That's
where
right.
You would just go through the motion of thing, and he would say, right, Ruffy, you throw that out to the full-back. And I'm standing, so I'm kidding on, I'm throwing the ball out, and he's going, that's the worst throw out I've ever seen in my life. That's the worst cross.
But that, Peter, that's what it is, and it's about humour.
Yeah.
And it's about getting people believing in themselves and believing in their ability. And that's what they had at Partick Thistle. And the thing about Alan, and he'll be first to admit it, John Arrow was a magnificent keeper.
Yeah.
The lad you were speaking, I keep missing you.
Tom Gourley.
Tom Gourley. He was a wee bit older than the
Yes.
twos. And Ruffy comes in one night after being, I think he was a Sportsman of the Year, but I think it was in a lounge,
Yeah.
you know, in one of the bars.
That wasn't the big one.
But so anyway, they're training, and I had wee Pat Quinn who never ever says it. He adored, we all adored him because he had a bit of the rest of us in himself. But he was younger and able to do it, but we were thinking about you. And wee Pat comes in and says, well, you'll need to come and see us. He says, but get on kind of knee pads, and he says, you'll fall down and laugh. So I get out, and all of a sudden, Donny's got them doing 15, 20 yards, 30 yard sprints, and all of them. Oh, I see, it could be, who can't have that?
It was the manager of the month, and I went for my lunch and I got my
In the
award.
Ingram
He gave me
Hotel.
the night off.
Yeah.
He gave me the night off, and then I phoned him at 5 o'clock and says, I've won my award. And he went, I've changed my mind, you're in training tonight.
But I tell him on the Saturday, you're having a day off. So I put in John Arrow, and it's like everything else. You must appreciate what you're doing. Yeah. John Arrow went in and he had a marvellous game, and he had 2 or 3 games. And then we played Motherwell at Motherwell, and John Arrow, I think it was an accident. Oh, it was an accident, but he broke his leg, remember?
Yeah.
That let you
I
in?
didn't mean to kick him as hard.
Listen,
But he did, he broke his leg, Peter.
just before we finish, I think it's only right and proper to tell you we've had a 2-part special. Great chance to chat to a legend, a Lisbon Lion. Bertie Auld is in the studio as our boot room guest.
The Boot Room, sponsored by Allen's Furniture Warehouse.
Just before we go, Bertie, can Celtic win in Italy?
Well, I know that one of you, can I say this? I know that your favourite player is someone that used to play there. And I would try to think about an answer that he would give you and give the viewers a chance to turn around as among yourself. Maybe aye and maybe no.
Yeah. It's the best way to sum it up because look at me too, look, these are inseparable.
Aye, that's all of the new.
Aye, exactly.
Once I get my earrings off of me,
But yeah, it has to be tight.
Oh.
They have to play it tight. They have to play a style of football, and they have to get a rub of the green. They have to carry a wee bit of luck. But as Bertie said, if it's nothing each with a minute to go, you've still got a chance.
But can I say something to you, Peter?
Yeah.
Honestly, this support, honestly, they'll be hungry to go to Italy. This support is the best 12th man you could have. This support will give them encouragement over there in Milan.
Yep. What's the best away result you can remember in your life playing?
I can't tell you, the wife will be listening.
What about a game of football? Was there one that sticks out in your mind?
You think I'm a grass beater?
Any game that sticks out, who cares?
What are we talking about?
Any game that you think, that they could maybe impact. Don't bother. We'll do it in a 3-part special. We'll get you back later on in the season. Ruffy, can they do it?
Yes. Yeah. As long as you're still in the game, they've showed that they scored 3 goals against them. They've just got to tighten up at the back, and you've always got a chance.
And what about bringing back lots of great memories?
Yes, of course. A lot of good ones, a lot of iffy ones as well. But at the end of it, we smiled at the end of it, and that's what football is all about.
Aye, definitely.
Yeah.
We leave everybody a smile.
Yeah.
And do you know something? See, if you look at the history of Celtic Football Club, it would never surprise you what could happen when the Celtic play.
Yeah, that's the best way to finish this programme. Bertie Auld has been our guest, a Lisbon Lion, a legend. Hopefully you've enjoyed his chat. I certainly have, and I know Ruffy has as well. Thanks to Bertie for coming in. An absolute delight to talk to him. More specials on the way on Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Thanks for watching. Good night.